Welcome to the Right Way Sports Network YouTube channel. My name is Matthew Levine, and alongside fellow analyst Nick Hogan, we're taking a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers play in arguably the toughest division in the NFL alongside the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals. This division is known for its tough defense, power running game, so it's always a fun time. It's a dogfight between these teams. For the Steelers, they're coming off of a season where they started 11-0, but finished the year losing 4 of their last 5 games. This has been a recent trend for Pittsburgh, as over the last 3 seasons, they hold a record of 6-11 with a turnover difference of -14 in the months of December and January. They do still have Mike Tomlin leading the way for them as the head coach and could compete for a chance at the Super Bowl. However, the overall success of this team starts with the quarterback. Normally, having a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger wouldn't be an issue, but his better days are behind him. Last season, Roethlisberger went 12-3 in the 15 games he started, but lost 4 of the last 5 games, including the playoff game against the Cleveland Browns. Overall, he threw for 3,803 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, while completing 65.6% of his passes. His stats weren't awful by any means, especially for an older quarterback, but his problem was getting the ball down the field. One trait that he has made over his career has been his ability to throw the deep ball. However, in 2020, Roethlisberger ranked 31st in deep ball completion percentage with a rating of 27.8. While it's clear that he doesn't have the same cannon of an arm that he used to, he still attempts to play the same style. He did average 6.3 yards per attempt on his throws this season, when throughout his career he consistently averaged in the high 7s, so it was much lower. Going into the offseason, there was much talk of Roethlisberger retiring or the Steelers maybe moving on from him due to his age and declining abilities, but he will end up being the starting quarterback in 2021. He is beloved by Steeler fans for his past accomplishments, but unfortunately he is not the same player he was. His arm does not have the same zip and velocity that it used to. For the Steelers, they're relying on his leadership and experience to keep them afloat in a tough division. If Roethlisberger can show even some flashes of his old self, the Steelers should be in good shape. If not, fans may be calling for backup quarterback Dwayne Haskins to take over the reins much sooner than they thought.
Despite the decline in Roethlisberger's game, the Steeler offense is still loaded with potential due to the skill players surrounding Big Ben. Great receiver play is nothing new for Pittsburgh, as we've seen stars like Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, and Antonio Brown flourish during Roethlisberger's tenure as quarterback. The receiving room is once again loaded in the Steel City, as Juju Smith-Schuster turned down a deal from Baltimore this past offseason to remain in Pittsburgh. He will be joined by Chase Claypool and Diontae Johnson, who each have shown potential star ability in their young careers. On paper, the Steelers' receiving corps should be nothing less than fantastic, but Pro Football Focus had something else to say, as they ranked them as only the 18th best receiving corps heading into the season. A lot of that has to do with the number of drops Pittsburgh had in 2020, as Diontae Johnson led the league with 16 himself, while Juju Smith-Schuster's yards per reception fell a concerning 3 yards lower than his career average of 12 yards per catch. Despite recent struggles from Johnson and Juju, Chase Claypool had a fantastic rookie season where he led all rookies with 9 receiving touchdowns. With a monster Chase Claypool sophomore season potentially on the horizon, the Steelers' receiving corps should live up to their high standards if they cut down the number of drops. Big Ben stays healthy, and veteran tight end Eric Ebron takes some pressure off of the wideouts. The biggest help to Big Ben and his receivers this season will likely come from a rookie. The Steelers drafted running back Najee Harris out of Alabama with the 24th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The 2-time national champion and Alabama's all-time leader in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns will have the task of replacing James Conner, who left in free agency. Conner once had the tough task of replacing Le'Veon Bell, and after ultimately falling short of expectations, Harris will now try to fill the hole in Pittsburgh's backfield, originally left by Bell. Najee Harris's explosiveness, quickness, and elusiveness should allow him to succeed in the NFL immediately. However, the degree of his success will have a lot to do with how Pittsburgh's offensive line plays this season.
In looking at the Steelers' offensive line, they rank 17th in Pro Football Focus's final rankings. However, going into the 2021 season, Pro Football Focus ranks the Steelers' offensive line as one of the worst in the league at 29th. Longtime center Marquise Pouncey retired, guard David DeCastro was recently released, and tackle Alejandro Villanueva moved over to rival Baltimore. There's going to be a lot of question marks for the Steelers unit here going forward. Getting started with the left tackle, we have Chukwuma Okorafor, and he will be moving from right tackle to left tackle, and he finished the 2020 season with a 57.5 Pro Football Focus rating. He ranked 74th out of 84 qualifying tackles and was charged with giving up 3 sacks and 5 penalties. He's still pretty young, so the upside is there, but this is the year where he really needs to take significant strides to prove he belongs. For the left guard, the Steelers rely on second-year player Kevin Dotson, who looked much better in pass protection with an 87.2 rating than in the run game with a 55.2 rating. Overall, he was given a 66.2 rating while being charged with giving up no sacks but 3 penalties. Going into this season, he may be the bright spot on the Steelers' offensive line, and they hope he can recreate the success he had from his rookie year. Taking over for Pouncey's place in the center position will either be J.C. Hassenauer or rookie Kendrick Green, who the Steelers took in the 3rd round of the 2021 draft. Hassenauer graded at 57.5 overall in 303 snaps, while Green is a very athletic center who ranked towards the top of his draft class and graded run blocks over the past few seasons. In the new offensive system the Steelers will have in place under new coordinator Matt Canada, Pittsburgh will likely be running more outside zone schemes, requiring their linemen to reach block more often than a year ago. This might give an edge to Green over Hassenauer due to his quick ability to get out of his stance. Moving over to the right guard is newly signed Trey Turner, who posted the 2nd lowest grade for a lineman this past season. His 34.8 grade from Pro Football Focus came as a shock due to his success in the previous years. In 2018 and 2019, he posted 67.9 and 63.9 grades respectively with the Carolina Panthers. To his credit, he did battle through injuries in 2020, which limited him to only 9 games. The Steelers hope he can return to his pre-2020 success and he can be an anchor for them going forward. And finally, with the right tackle for them is Zach Banner. Banner finished with an overall grade of 63.7 and has shown flashes of power in the run game, but he has only seen a small number of snaps since entering the league in 2017 and has proven to be slightly below average in pass protection. As for any team, the offensive line can provide stability, but this line remains a question and could end up playing a major role in the overall success of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021.
The Steelers may have an issue protecting their own quarterback, but getting to the other team's quarterback will be a completely different story. The Steelers' defense tallied 56 sacks in 2020, leading the NFL. Pittsburgh's defense was also 3rd in the NFL in yards per game allowed, while finishing top 5 in forced turnovers and turnover differential. Due to their success, they sent 3 defensive players to the Pro Bowl last season: outside linebacker TJ Watt, defensive lineman Cameron Hayward, and safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. While they may not be as dominant as the original Steel Curtain, Pittsburgh's defense will display tons of talent aside from their 2020 Pro Bowlers. Young linebacker Devin Bush will be back this season after tearing his ACL last year. But the Steelers will be permanently without outside linebacker Bud Dupree after he signed with Tennessee this offseason. Despite losing Dupree, Pro Football Focus has the Steelers' D-line ranked number 1 in the league heading into the season. The D-line and linebackers will receive some help from the secondary from not only All-Pro Minkah Fitzpatrick, but also from veteran quarterback Joe Hayden. Hayden will be joined by Cameron Sutton at the opposite corner position following the losses of Mike Hilton and Steven Nelson. The Pittsburgh pass rush will be a huge help to the secondary, and as the saying goes, the best pass coverage is a good pass rush. The Steelers will be the epitome of that phrase this season. The Steelers' defense led Pittsburgh to 11 straight wins to start the year in 2020, but only time will tell if they can make as big of an impact once again this fall. However, as of today, there's no reason to believe why they can't. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season since he became the Steelers head coach in 2007, but that hasn't come without its disappointments. Despite the incredible stretch Pittsburgh went on to start the year in 2020, it was all soiled after being blown out by Cleveland in the wildcard round. The Browns jumped out to a 28-0 lead in the first quarter and Pittsburgh never recovered. For Steeler fans, they must hope that the team has finally recovered mentally from that game and awful end to the season. Aside from all the physical factors that make Pittsburgh a good football team, the mental side of the game might be the X factor that pushes Pittsburgh over the hump this year or is their downfall. Mike Tomlin will have to make sure his team is ready to play and there's no lingering drama in order for Pittsburgh to reach their full potential. The Steelers have real potential, but doubts still remain surrounding Big Ben, the O-line, and the team chemistry. Well, that'll do it for us today. My name is Nick Hogan. I was joined by Matt Levine, fellow analyst for the Right Way Sports Network. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share all of our content. And just so you know, over the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing weekly NFL offseason breakdowns for all 32 NFL teams. We'd love to have you watch our videos. It's going to be great, and we'll see you there.